right. Well, hello, everyone. And thank you so much for tuning in to At the Table with Claudine as we uncover the pathways to freedom, identity, and destiny right here at the table together. I am your host, Claudine, and it is such an honor to have you join us this evening. So I just have to do a little disclaimer. So At the Table, I just have to say it is more than just a show. It is a space created to dive deep into stories of faith, identity, and destiny. It's where truth meets grace and where we explore the profound journeys that shape us. The mission to awaken each and every one of you to your kingdom identity and destiny, empowering you with stories of triumph, healing, faith, and restoration. And so I'm super excited this evening about this evening's guest. I've actually had the pleasure of working with this beautiful young lady. And so I am so excited that she said yes, and that we get to spend some time today together at the table. And so Nichol, I just want to say to you, welcome to the table. Come on, virtual families, just send some hearts or some hand clapping or do what you got to do, the emoji things. And let's just welcome Nichol to the table. Nichol, how are you?
I am great. It's so good to see you. It's been a little bit.
It has been a little bit. It has been a little bit. So I'm going to read a little bit of Nichol's bio, and to read her full bio, I'm going to invite you all to the audience to please go to my Facebook page so you can see the full bio. And I'm going to mess your name up because I always mess somebody's name up.
That's okay.
Okay. So the multi-talented Nichol Perricci is just, first of all, she just has such a beautiful soul. I just want to put that out there. Beautiful, so humble soul. You would not believe some of the things that she does. So with a career spanning over 2 decades, Nichol is a master in book publishing, graphic design, and project management for anthology projects. She worked on this. Yeah, she worked on this. I didn't put that out there. Nichol serves as a TV host, podcast producer, and editor, and is renowned for her diverse skill set that includes executive editing for various media platforms. Each week, she enhances a plethora of YouTube shows and radio broadcasts with her expert touch. Her commitment to maintaining the integrity of her clients, concepts, and brands has made her a cherished figure in entrepreneurship. She's so professional. Let me just say that to you. Nichol's work ethic and dedication to client satisfaction have kept her services in high demand, showcasing her ability to navigate entrepreneurial trends with timeless expertise. Founder of DNP Designs and the creative force behind the PAMELA Show, Nichol recently added a doctorate in Christian worship ministry. Hallelujah, in Mainseed Christian University to her impressive resume. Once again, Nichol, welcome to At the Table with Claudine. Welcome.
Thank you. And like hearing you, like I read that when you did the post about me being on the show, and I'm like, it takes you back when you read it. It's like, okay, she's talking about me. Okay.
Yeah, that's you. Yes, that is you. So Nichol, I know I just read your resume and it's a lot of it, a lot of stuff. And some things I believe I did, take out just to kind of make it a little bit smaller. No. But I do want to ask this question, and I'm sure anyone would like to know. So all that is beautiful, all that you've accomplished, the gifts and talents. But I want to ask you this question. Who is Nichol? Who is Nichol?
Who am I? I am an adopted person. So I am adopted. I am actually within the last 3 years finding my biological family. So that has been fun. I went from a single, an only child to the oldest of 5 so far. Oh, and that is just on my dad's side. So that has been a journey the last couple of years. So it's kind of cool to have sisters and brothers all of a sudden. I've met 2 of them in person. But I am just an everyday person. Okay. So I do all this stuff. Okay. Yeah. That's not who I am. It's the stuff that I do. And it's actually the stuff I love. I tell people it's taken me 40 years, because I'm now 50, to figure out find something I love to do. Mm-hmm. And I've had a lot of jobs. I have, my oldest is 32 years old. So I had 30 years of work. And a lot of jobs that I just did because I needed to make money to survive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now I'm out of COVID, of all things. I found what I love.
Yes.
And so I love people, which is hilarious because I am definitely an introvert. I am the person that sits in the back of the room and waits for people to come talk to me, which is changing some because it's had to. Dr. Pamela, who you mentioned I work with, has pushed me out of my comfort zone ever so gently.
Yes.
But I'm the quiet person in the room unless you get me talking. And then you can't shut me up.
Right. That's usually how it is. Yeah.
And I get talking really fast and have to consciously slow down. But yeah, I'm just a girl that lived out in the middle of Pennsylvania. I was adopted, like I said, at 8 weeks old, and to a woman who's been my mother forever, and she will always be mom.
Right. Yes.
And I was grateful to have the mom that everybody loved. She's everybody's mom still.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I just I grew up in a Christian family, but just because you grew up in a Christian family doesn't mean you stay that way forever. And I won't say that I wasn't, but I had my struggles and I had my moments of stuff.
Yeah, we all have stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff you got to survive.
Yes.
And didn't always pick the best way to survive it. And I lived a lot of my life surviving.
Yeah.
And I look back at that and go, oh my gosh, what were you doing? And that's exactly what I was doing. I was surviving. Yeah. So that's a little bit.
Yeah. What did you realize that you were just surviving? Was there a certain an incident? Was there an event that you're like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to just survive, but I want to live.
Yeah, I had one of those, sitting in the congregation at church and your pastor's preaching, and there might as well be nobody else in the room.
Yeah,
those moments.
Yes.
He was just talking about, being, and the funny thing is I can't remember the exact topic, and I could easily go look it up, but talking about being who you are in Christ and being the authentic you and being who God wants you to be. And I'm just sitting there going, and something hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. That was like every decision I had made when I was 18, from the time I was 18, when I got pregnant, kicked out of high school because I was pregnant because I went to a Christian school.
Okay.
There's a whole lot to unpack right there. Got married because I grew up Christian, and when you got pregnant, you got married. Period.
Yes.
And even though my parents, my friends, everybody around me was saying, you don't have to, I had it ingrained in me. Yes, I did. And I had certain things happen to me the night before the wedding. I had a dream. I had all kinds of stuff go through my head that a normal person, I wouldn't say, not normal person, but a person that was thinking clearly would have said, I should not be walking down the aisle tomorrow. But I did it anyway.
Yes.
Because I had that mindset that I had to
get married.
And from that point on, 17 years of my life, I made decision upon decision upon decision to try to make up for the decision I made before. And would I take back those 17 years? No, because I have 3 amazing children who I love dearly.
Yes.
Would I love to have suffered less? Yeah, absolutely. Would I like to, my oldest, not have to go through all that with me? Absolutely. Because he has his own issues now. He's a great guy, but he has anger issues. He wouldn't admit, but he has those. And a lot of those are because of what he went through with me. So, but yeah, it was that moment. And I actually went into, at that point in time, I was the secretary at the church. So that Monday morning, I was sitting in his office when he came in. And I'm like, I need to talk.
And
it was amazing because him and his wife had already been praying for that realization for me.
Yes, that's good.
Because they saw it. They saw what I was living in, what I was dealing with, the husband I was married to, the way he was treating me, and my kids, and they saw it all. And, you know, everybody around you can see what you can't see.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you have blinders on when you're surviving.
Yeah. Like yes.
So yeah, it was, that was it was just a light bulb moment, literally, that shifted me and my mindset to realize what I'm worth. That doesn't mean that right then everything was like,
of course,
perfect.
Yeah. Right.
I had to get a lot of things in.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: what would you tell someone that maybe in that position right now, young lady, your younger self, as they say? What would you what would you tell your younger self, or that young lady that's in that position? Okay, I'm with child. I mean, I'm with a child. So like everyone said, I had to get married. What would you tell that young lady? Or that person?
Don't get married just because you're pregnant. Get married because you're in love, and not in infatuation, not in, oh, but he loves me so much, you know, puppy dog love. And I have a daughter. I have my middle child is a daughter, and she had her own struggles. And I remember she had this guy that she dated, who I am not a person that despises people or hates people, but he's one that pushed me. He's one that I had to go to my knees and say, okay, Lord, I can't deal with this anymore. This is yours.
Yeah.
I literally have to not think about it.
Yeah.
And she knows all this, but you have to, my husband and I, sorry, my brain's going 5 different directions. My husband and I did youth ministry.
Okay.
And I did youth ministry before that. And I was always drawn to that age. And I know why, because that's where my story started. But what I look at nowadays is the young girls that don't see their worth. Think they need a guy to be worthy.
Yeah.
Don't see their worth in God, how God sees them, to the point where before I had that aha moment, there was a book that was given to me, and I can't remember, something about being captivated by God. It talked about how God sees us as his princesses. And I started reading that book. I think I got through the first chapter and I put it down because it made me mad. Because that's not how I saw myself.
Right. Yes.
And so that's one thing that anytime I see a young girl in a relationship that's not serving her, a guy that is not treating her right, that's where my boldness gets pushed in, because I will mama bear. I don't care who she is.
Yes.
Because that's where if you submit to that and you let that guy treat you like that, you'll do that, and that'll be your norm.
Right. Yes.
So, you know, if you're pregnant and you don't have the support of a guy that loves you, because, I mean, let's be honest, most girls that find themselves in that position are not married. They're dating and they're doing things they shouldn't be doing. I pray they have an adult in their life that they can talk to. If you don't, call me, find me.
Yes, I love that.
But, because find an adult in your life that can help you, that can talk to you, that can, and if honestly, you know, I am a big proponent of don't get rid of it, abortion wise. I'm a huge stand up for that. Some of that comes from being adopted. And as I'm finding out my story, I'm even more about it, because I probably would not be here if my mother if it would have been as big as that thing now, like it is now, I would not be here. But, you know, there's people that would love to have a baby, would love to have you look now, there's people that are doing things to their kids right now that just,
Yeah. I am also very passionate as you are when it comes to young ladies and really knowing, their identity, that they have purpose, that they're not just here by happenstance, that, there is purpose, that you're here for a reason. And so I that really touches my heart as well. And my heart does go out when I see young ladies or, I see women and they don't know. And I just pray that their eyes will be open, that they will see their worth. Because it's not just single mothers with, young ladies in general, may not know their worth. So we pray, even with today's episode, that through Nicole's testimony, that you will know that you are so worth it. You do have purpose. We do see you. The Lord does see you, and so, I'm very passionate when it comes to that as well.
Yeah. Well, and, we grew up in a time, you and I, when women were moms, wives. That was what we did. Now is, women can do this. Women can do whatever. Do we get awarded as much? No, but we're getting there. We're pushing it. We're pushing it. People like you, people like Pamela, people like, some of the women in these books. But we have to do that. We have to step up. We have to go out and, and use our voice to let these younger women, this younger generation, because they don't have good people speaking into them. They have, especially coming out of a lot of the music industry and the Hollywood, they've got trash speaking into them right now. So yes, we are very responsible.
Yes. And one of my favorite scriptures I always think about, what is the Titus 2, likewise teach the older women. Well, the older women should teach the younger women how to live. And I always kind of just stand on that, because it doesn't always, the older women, of course, they're set in their ways, but I always just encourage that, because I knew when I was younger, I always looked for or wanted that person. My mom was there, and I'm grateful for my mom, of course, but I always wanted, I don't think I could talk to my mom, although she was there, but just to have someone that you can talk to, it always just really helped. And so I'm so grateful that you and I and different women that we're connected to are creating spaces that are safe spaces that these women can get involved with. They can join and be able to just let their hair down and just let it all out. And know that it is a safe space.
Right.
It's a safe space. So so when I think of Titus 2 women, I always think of like women like you and I, Dr. Pamela, of course, some of the women that are even in this book that are here, that we're here to hear your story, because you have a voice.
Yes.
And so that's what it reminds me of while you were talking. I thought of that.
I love that. Well, and that's why I like doing the books, and why I like doing the podcasts, helping people get their podcasts going, because that's my goal with what I'm doing now, is to help people get their voice out there.
Yes.
Because everybody has a different story.
Yes. Yes.
And there's millions, billions of people in the world with different stories, and one person's not going to speak to everybody.
Right. We can't reach everybody. That's right.
Right.
Yes.
So the more we can get out, the better.
Yes.
I'm working on getting my own, but I'm going to take my chapter from next, and I have a journal started. It's all together. I just have to format it and actually put it in a book.
Okay.
And it's going to be all about joy.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was something a couple years ago. God was like, okay, you're going to go live on Facebook for a month, which was my birthday month, and just tell people about joy every day.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I don't know if you remember that. So I've done it 3 years now in a row.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at being consistent every day. It just depends, but I've tried. But that first year, it was all about joy every day. And it was like, but that was because I had spent that whole year before really finding joy and real joy, not just being happy every day. Cause that's not real. That's not authentic.
Right. Yes.
That is as fake as it comes. My biggest thing, I hate fake people, just rub me really bad. But it was all about joy and how to get there, and the difference between joy and happiness, and getting that in here joy, not just being happy, the in here where your heart was happy. And that's hard when you've gone through a mess or when you're going through something. When you wake up in the morning and you feel like crud and you're like, no, I don't want to be happy today.
Yeah, right. Yes.
And you have to put on that song or read that verse or listen to a motivational thing or meditation or something. Me, it's music. It's music. If I play the music, I'm good. And God gives me music. He throws the weirdest music in my head some days. I'll just be going through the house and humming a song like, what in the world? Where did that come from? It's stuff something I haven't heard in 20 years. But, you know, it's really funny because I'm a happy person. I wouldn't say I float around like a, you know, but but it was challenging for me because I was for a long time the girl that would get up and sing and sit down. I did not talk before I sang.
Okay.
Because people would ask me, well, did you want to say something before you sing, you know, for their sound people or whatever?
Right. Yes,
I'm like, no, I'll get up. They start the music. I'm good. You know, right. I don't want, nope, not going to talk because my head and my brain do not, or my mouth and my brain do not.
Right. Yes.
But, you know, with working with Pamela, she's drugged me along.
That's good. Yes.
And being at church. I mean, I was the worship leader, but I would lead worship and have other people in my worship team talk.
Okay.
I wouldn't talk.
Okay.
And he pushed me. God did push me.
With that.
And he would give me a nugget. And I don't even think I said the nugget he gave me. He just gave me something so I would open my mouth.
Okay.
And I would have people come up after church and go, oh, that just really, and I look at them and I'm like, okay, I had no idea what I said.
Right. Yes. Yes.
And I was like, okay. So, you know, it was my way of knowing it's not me. And I'm okay with that.
Right. Yes.
I was okay with it being God speaking through me and being that vessel because I knew at that point in time, I couldn't.
Right.
I couldn't and I wouldn't. So it was both.
You're right. Yes.
I probably could have if I wanted to, but I didn't want to.
Right.
No desire to speak in front of anybody.
So I want to ask you this while you were talking, this came to me. So I did read in the last part of your bio about your latest accomplishment.
Yes.
So can we talk about that a little bit, please, ma'am? I want to just, what was that moment for you? You have your doctorate in Christian worship ministry. What led you to move forward in doing that? Is there a story behind that? Can we?
Yeah, so Mainseed Christian University, Dr. John Ugle, his name is so hard. He started that this past year. He had a previous university that was a joint venture with someone else, which he released and to that gentleman, and it's going strong, which is amazing. But he decided to start that, and Dr. Pamela was a very helpful driving force behind that. And encouraged him to bring me along as a secretary. Okay. And so I'm also his secretary. And in that, she nominated me for an honorary doctorate. And so I'm like, okay. So I did all the stuff, you know, all the stuff that you have to do to get there. And then, so the event itself, I'm doing two things at once. You know, I am organized. I have organized the event. I'm running the event. I'm sitting on the stage, not with the graduates. Okay. And then I have to go down and get in the line and all that. So, so the thing about, you know, I talked about being pregnant and getting kicked out of school. So when I got kicked out of school, I didn't graduate. It was my senior year, November of my senior year. And so I didn't graduate with my class, who I had been with since 6th grade. It was a Christian school, so there was only 26, 27 of us in class.
Wow. Okay.
Gratefully, I mean, I had an amazing class. They were there with me. They didn't care what the school said. I'm in the yearbook. It's like whatever. And I went to graduation, and I was there, pregnant as can be, at sitting at graduation. But with that, I had to get my GED if I wanted, to graduate.
Right.
And which was an easy feat for me. I mean, I am grateful. My mother made me study, and school did not come hard for me. I was blessed with that, which I'm grateful for. So GED was easy.
Okay.
But they have a graduation for everybody that takes their GED, but you just wear your regular clothes. There's no cap and gown.
Okay.
So for the doctorate, you have a cap and gown, which I have my cap and gown, my sash or whatever it's called, and my cap is right over there. So we're lining up to go up on stage, and I'm just standing there, and I just kind of had that holy cow moment. Holy cow, keep it together moment. Because I'm like, I don't want to be a puddle on the stage. But it was the first time I wore a cap and gown, and it hit me. I was like, oh, this is happening. And it was cool, but it was like, I'm wearing this cap and gown, but I'm not just a graduate. I'm on stage as staff and part of this college.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And it was like, it was a proof of transformation for me.
Yes.
And I look back at not like a haha, look what I did to the school, because I'm very much in contact with, my principal, who wasn't actually the principal when I was in high school. He had stepped down into the elementary, but he was like, he has always kept contact. I'm in contact with some of the teachers still. And of course, a lot of my classmates because of Facebook. Right. But so it wasn't a, I did it anyway type of thing. Right. It was more of a, for me, it was, wow, here's this girl that got kicked out of high school. And at that moment, I had the self-esteem of like this. The man I was with at the time did not abuse me physically, abused me mentally.
Okay.
And had me thinking I was
right. This. Yes.
To the fact that I married him. When I found out I was pregnant, we weren't dating.
Okay.
I was dating someone else who was an amazing guy and would have married me if I would have wanted him to. And was at the wedding, which is hilarious. And this is the first person I saw. I mean, there's a whole story there, which is hilarious. But I did not think anything of myself back then. And now I'm at this graduation in a cap and gown on the staff, singing in front of everybody. And I sang 2 songs. The second song I sang, which to other people, this is nothing. But to me, it was like, oh my gosh. He did something with it. He put some reverb on the mic. And for people who are in music, they know what that is.
Yes.
And when he did that in the middle of the song, I almost lost it. Because it's sad, because we're in this auditorium, and because it was a theater, and it just sounded, the sound of it was just like, holy cow. Yeah. And it was almost, which it sounds hilarious to say, an out-of-body experience. Because it was just like, what is happening right now? So with that being said, though, over the last 20 plus years, the devil has had a lot of place in my life. Not that I meant to give him place, but with my self-esteem being what it was for 20 years, he knows where my sore spots are. He knows where those are. And he knows, some days I look at myself and go, ew. And I try to shake them off as quickly as I can. I have something on my mirror that I look at every morning for a reason. I have this tattoo that says I am, and it's there for a reason. Right. Yes. It's a reminder for me that I am what I need to be when I need to be. I am enough. But as we were taking pictures that day, I was seeing some of the pictures, and I really did not like myself in those pictures because of my weight. And what they look like. I mean, okay, you're in those graduations. They are not flattering for anybody.
For that. Right. Yeah.
But we were taking pictures outside looking down
Okay.
So yeah. So
Okay.
those pictures are not the best pictures because you don't look down when you're taking a picture.
Mhm.
But he got in my head. And it, my husband's like, well, let's go in and take some more pictures. And I'm like, no, I'm done. He did not know at the time why. I told him later. Yeah, but it was that just little moment. He got that, the devil got in there, creeped in and got that little moment. He got that little one little piece of moment from my day of victory. And so I say that to say it doesn't matter how far you get in him, in mindset, in God, and know that you're in that place that you absolutely love. The devil still knows where to push. And he can get in there. It's just the matter of knowing how to turn it off. When he gets in there, I didn't recognize it till later that day. When I was in the moment, he got me. Because I was in the moment and I was vulnerable. Because I was crazy. My emotions were everywhere that day.
Everywhere.
And I was trying to hold them in because I'm hosting the event. I have to be in control that day.
Or so we think.
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah.
It had to be perfect, right? It had to be perfect.
Yes.
Because I was, it's everybody was looking at me for direction. I had to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's a flaw. It is a flaw. It can be a good thing, but it is a flaw.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just getting that moment and having that, my husband was there. He's part of the school as well. He was emceeing. It was great. And I'm really bad at taking compliments. Yes. But there was a moment afterwards, and I had one of the graduates came up to me with, I think it was her pastor and a couple other ladies, and they prayed over me. And because they knew God told them to. And honestly, after that moment, now that I'm thinking back to it, is kind of when I let that go. I mean, we were already packed up, ready to leave.
Okay.
But that's when I left that mindset go.
Yes.
Is when that happened. But it was a blessing to me that they took that time. And that's never happened to me in a public setting. I'm always the person in the background.
Okay.
Praying for others beside somebody, like usually with Pamela or, whoever I'm working for at the moment. So being put front and center like that was a real surreal moment for me because I'm not used to, it's never been me. Yes, I've been, I've sang in front of all kinds of people. I've sang at fairs, I've said whatever, but I've never seen myself as front and center there. So it was a really surreal moment and a God moment that I will treasure forever because it was just, I don't know. It was just, it was life-changing. It was special to me because of the cap and gown.
Of course.
It was really cool.
Yeah. I think that is such a blessing where you thought, oh my God, I missed out when I was younger because I was pregnant. And so, I didn't get that cap and gown.
Yeah.
And for some people, it is a big deal. For me, it was a big deal. I'm grateful for the school I went to. I actually went to night school, but I was still able to graduate with my class, with the big class in my cap and gown. So we're truly grateful. But some people didn't have it. And so I just love, that's why I want you to share that part about it. Like, I was pregnant and I went to, got my GED and it was my regular clothes, but then look at today, how the Lord opened that opportunity for you. I love that I just love that he knows everything about us. He knows our future. He has great things in store, that he truly does love us. And I always think, and I don't say it just to say it, that he really does have our best interest. He really does. He has some great things in store for us and has our best interest. And so I'm sure it did him well, made him smile and proud to see you in that cap and gown, excuse me. And you should be celebrated. Why not? We should celebrate each other. So I just want to say once again, congratulations. I'm truly so excited. So excited. I'm really excited and happy to know you. And so I'm going to kind of just transition a little bit I know you worked on this book, love the cover, everything about it was beautiful. When did you realize, growing up, when did you realize that there was some creative that you were, oh my God, this brings me joy, whether, it's writing or directing, or when did you realize that that was something, a gift that you carried?
So it's so funny because I talk, so my business itself came out of COVID.
Right.
It's hilarious. The business that I have presently. But 20 years ago, my daughter was 4. I worked at a title company doing housing titles. I was the office manager, and my boss walked in with the software for publishing, the publishing software, Microsoft Publishing, and says, I want to do a newsletter. Figure it out.
Okay. Okay.
I'm like, okay. So I put the program on the office computer there at work, and I started playing with this program, trying to figure out, they've got templates for newsletters and stuff. I started playing with it, and I started the company newsletter there. So that was the first time I ever worked or played with. Before that, I can't draw to save my life, can't paint to save my life.
Right, yes.
No. My daughter, that's my daughter. My daughter is the artist in the family. When it comes to hand art and photography, that is my beautiful daughter. But that got thrown at me like that. Over the years, I've done, so when any church that I've been in, like in the office, especially at, when we moved to Minnesota, we got involved with Dr. Pamela's church. And for 11 years, I did their newsletters. I did their bulletins. I did any artwork or whatever out of need.
Okay.
And I absolutely loved it. It was so fun, mainly because I would see stuff and I'm like, oh, that just I'm a very visual person. I always have been. I've done events for years, like help friends with weddings and stuff like that. So I'm a very visual person, artistic wise, and like when it comes to that kind of stuff. So over the years, I've kind of just developed that. And so when I got to church and I would see these bulletins and I'm like, can I help? And I did, and I just started doing that. So when Pamela started stepping out into her next, she brought me along. She originally had somebody else doing her stuff because of time, because I just didn't have time because I was doing all the stuff for church.
Right. Yes.
And eventually, and she didn't want to tie me up because at the time she couldn't pay me, which was fine. And I finally came to her and I'm like, Pamela, please let me do this. Because I was seeing what this other woman was giving her, and it was fine.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't, first of all, brand wise, it wasn't Pamela.
Right. Yes.
And I'm like, please don't put any of this out there. Please let me do this. And I just started doing all of her content and doing, creating her logos and her banners and all of that stuff. And we grew that part, the design part of my business is where we started.
Okay.
And then Women of the Power Voice was the first anthology we did together.
Okay.
And we did that one with Yashika. And that's where we started. And that was the first anthology we did. Dawn Leak knows this. I am forever grateful to her because she was so giving. Her and Dr. Tamika, who is still my editor. I will not use anybody else as an editor. I love her to death. We're so giving in showing how to do things. That once we finished that project, Pamela was like, what do you think about just starting to do this? And, the next anthology she did with Deborah, I ran it.
Yeah.
And did the project management for it. And my publishing has just grown. And I know it's a God thing because I don't advertise. People send people will come to me. I talk to people.
Yes.
Most of all those books back there are from people coming to me. And I've had this book. I love it. This book makes me happy.
What's this?
I always have to show off Germany's book.
Is that new, right?
Huh?
Is that new, right?
Yeah. It's been the end of last year.
Okay. Okay.
But he wrote that book in the intention of getting into the school. Because it's targeted to preteen and up.
Okay.
And it's about a story of a boy looking for his father.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's gotten into schools.
Oh, wow.
And I love it.
Good.
And it has nothing to do with I did. He wrote the book. People have seen the book. He's put the book out there. And now he's in schools and doing, they build a course around the book.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, wow.
That makes me so happy. And I get nothing from it. It's his book.
Yeah.
Money. Wow. I don't even care.
Yeah.
We just had him, he recorded with Pamela for her show, and I had to put that out there so Pamela talked about it, because that's why I do what I do. I absolutely love doing the artwork. I love putting making the covers. I love doing all of that.
Yes.
But for me, the best part of it for me is to seeing other people succeed.
So can I just say something? So we've been talking for a while, for about 40 minutes. Okay. And I just realized that we just transitioned talking about, the creative part, the books and stuff. And you are so excited. You have this joy. So I know that, obviously it's something I know that you love, and it's good to love what you do. But I just realized that you're like just so giddy. Your face is red, girl. Your face is red. You're just excited about it. And I'm just truly grateful. But one of the things that stood out to me a minute ago that you just said, Bernice just said, to God be the glory. Once again, she said, congratulations again.
I love her. I love Bernice.
Yes. One of the things you just said that stood out to me was you were saying that when I asked you the question, I said, when did you realize that you either had that gift or something that you liked? And what you said was, I was in a church and I was looking at their flyer like, something ain't right. But what you said, instead of criticizing or just leaving it, you reached out and said, hey, can I do this? And so that kind of spoke to me, because a lot of times we see things as a people, we have the gift to make a difference. And one of the things I always tell my mom is, when we see stuff we don't like, don't complain, don't say anything negative.
No,
let's add to it. What can I ask the Lord God? What can I do to make this thing better? Especially, and I mean, you're just truly gifted in creating, whether it's drawing, whatever it is. And so the Lord using that area. So that just kind of spoke to me. And I want to encourage someone that when you see something that doesn't really, you can do better. Don't criticize. Don't complain. Let's just add to it. We're called to iron sharpens iron. That's what we're called to do. Let's build. That's what we're supposed to do. Come together and just build. If you can help someone else out because that don't look right or whatever, let's just get together as a community, as a people, as kingdom people, as sons, and let's help each other. That when you spoke, that's what kind of came to me, reminded me of that's what we should be doing.
Well, yeah. And, especially, so in two different avenues. So if you're in a church, a lot of jobs, quote unquote, volunteer positions in a church, the people that are doing them are not the people that are supposed to be doing them. They're doing them because somebody's got to do it. And that was the case in the stuff at church. The secretary was doing it because somebody had to do it. She was so grateful that she didn't have to do it anymore.
Right. I'm sure.
It wasn't something she was using an old template and just changing information out every week. And nobody was looking at it anyway. So, and then when you get in the business aspect, I have had clients reach out to me and say, well, I went on YouTube and figured out how to do this, and then I'm like, oh, how many hours did you spend on YouTube? About 4 or 5. I'm like,
I had a conversation about that today with someone. Yes.
I'm like, don't. Or I went to Fiverr and I got this, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
There are people in your circle.
That
knows how to do this. Ask somebody. If you know somebody that has a book that came out, ask them who published it, who did the cover, who put it together. Ask them. Don't go to Fiverr. I mean, God bless. I'm glad there's Fiverr out there for people that don't have the connections.
Yes.
But if you know somebody that has stuff, if you know somebody that has written a book and published it, ask them how they did it. Who their contact was.
Right.
Let them be able to gift their person that they used by paying it forward and giving them the work, especially people like me that I go by word of mouth. Yes, we put it out there on social media, because I put everything, I celebrate everybody that I work with.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, there are people that will don't Google it don't spend 5 hours of your day trying to figure it out and then be so frustrated.
Yeah, I don't want to.
That you've spent the day doing it, but you could have done 100 other things.
Yes.
And now you're behind the 8 ball because you wasted your time. It's a waste of your time.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that.
And no. I don't either. There's a couple things people will say, do you know how to do this? And I'm like, nope, I sure don't. But I do know somebody that does.
Yes.
And like, I don't edit. I don't ever want to edit. Somebody asked me that. Well, are you eventually going to just start, learn how to edit? And I'm like, nope. I have an editor. I love her. I work great with her. She's my editor. If she ever stops editing, I may cry and sit in the corner for a while and figure out what to do. But I use the people that I know.
Yes.
And I encourage people to do that. Find that person. And, not like there's plenty of people like me out there. I may not be everybody's cup of tea.
Right. Yes.
And you're just not. I've had people I've had to work with that I about pulled my hair out with. And when they contact me, I'll work with them if I'm not crazy busy. If I'm crazy busy, I'll, but I need to put you off till this time. And if that works for them, great.
Right.
But
yes.
I've learned I've learned to say no, which is really hard.
Yeah.
Especially when there's money involved.
Yes. Yeah.
But I've learned to schedule my life better, especially over the last 6 months. Learn to schedule my life better, learn to say no, learn to give people better expectations because, oh, yeah, I can have that for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Not always.
Yeah.
So I've learned to really be better at that.
So balance.
Balance is amazing.
Yeah.
Just schedule my life better because I want to enjoy it. I love what I do, but I don't want to do it every day.
Right. Yes.
24 hours. I want to be able to go spend a weekend with my grandbabies, which I just did, which was fantastic. Not to have to work for 2 days when I was there. That was great. Because they don't really like it when grandma gets her computer out.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. The Lord is teaching me that the last few weeks, that we've got to know when, okay, it's time to put everything, just relax and get back in that place of rest.
Yeah.
So yes. Yeah, because I was reminded by my own coach, Carrie, yesterday that we can't pour from an empty cup.
That's right.
And just being reminded of that. So, because that was going to be my next question. And you answered it. It was like, it seems like you're doing so many things. How do you balance, your time with the Lord, of course, your time with the Lord, your family, ministry, and then work, your clients. How do you balance? But you just said sometimes I just have to put the computer back.
Yeah. You do. You have to shut it. You have to walk away. I mean, I have my office set up, but my computer comes to the living room with me during the day.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier for me to sit in there for a long period of time. But with it being in the living room, I have to learn to, okay, I'm done for the day. Shut. And if somebody texts me and wants something, no. Unless it depends on who it is a lot of times. But a lot of times it's like, okay, I'll get that to you in the morning.
I was going to say, because I know I'll be reaching out to you at like midnight. That's when I see your voice. I'm like, Nichol.
You are not the only one, love.
That's the only time I think like creative. Like,
well, I have a lot of clients that work days. So nighttime, like 9-10 o'clock is when they text me. And I've learned, depending on who it is and what they need.
Right. Yes.
You say, okay, I'll do that tomorrow.
Right.
If it's something like they need something changed out, okay, that's different.
That's easy. Yes.
But if it's something that I'm going to get in front of my computer and be there for an hour, no.
Yeah. Yes.
I've learned to say no, because otherwise I will get on there, do that, and then, I'm on my computer. Let me go see 500 other things that I can do.
Yes. I find myself doing the same thing. Yes. Yeah.
I used to tell people that when I got in my office, I lost track of time. And my husband, I burned a pizza. My husband was resting. I put a pizza in the oven and went in my office. Next thing I heard was my husband go, "What's burning?" And I'm like, no. He made me put it on Facebook.
Guilty. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because I forgot. I forgot it was in there because I got busy. And so I've learned that when I'm in my office, every hour and a half, I get up.
Yes.
And especially, well, it helps when you're drinking water because you have to.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, you have to learn that balance. Otherwise, you're going to wear yourself out. And then what you're doing, whether you love it or not, is not going to be worth it.
True. That is very true. Yeah, that is very true. Well, Nichol, it has truly been, we had a little girl talk. This has really been good. We talked about a few little things, from who is Nichol up until the cap and gown, something that you've been wanting. And then, we're talking about your creativity and, what the Lord has put in you and learning how to balance family and business and how the Lord gave you that, it came out, you say it was birthed really through COVID. I think I've heard a lot of people say that their businesses really was just birthed that, this was birthed initially, the talk show was actually birthed during COVID.
Yeah. You didn't have anything else to do with yourself.
Yeah. I was actually minding my business, to be very honest. I was part of another ministry, at Glow, and I was minding my busin's. I really was. And the Lord showed me a TV screen and me as a host. And I remember at the time, 2-3 years ago was COVID. I called I called the ladies that were part of the team, and I said, my board, and I said, I had the strangest vision or dream. I said, the Lord showed me like it was almost like a TV show. Yeah. And we were hosting it and having interviews, and they were looking at me like, at the time it was just Annette. And she was like, well, what? I said, it's weird, right? Weird, right? Right. And we kind of ignored it. And I swear to you, Nichol, it wasn't maybe 30 days after that, there was COVID. And then right after that, then the shutdown. And so grateful for COVID happened. And so grateful the Lord allowed this to be birthed. It was a different name at the time, but for this to be birthed. And then I know now this is part of my destiny as well. Just like, that you're doing as far as writing and creating is part of your destiny as well. So grateful. Bernice, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And those others that are watching us live and also going to watch the replay, we're truly grateful. Do you have before you close, I want you to give some, last minute remarks or anything that will encourage our guests before we get off of here. But I just want to do a little, just share with you all that I'm actually, if you'd like to just go deeper and know a little bit more about me, I'm going to encourage you all that are watching that I do have actually an online community or membership that I have, and it's called Freedom Within. It actually does launch May the 1st. And it is that safe place that Nichol and I were talking about. It is going to be actually a safe place where you'll be able to connect with like-minded souls. We're going to have like weekly sessions, Q&As. We're going to have, activation, do declarations, and just really spend time with Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so I'm super, super excited. I believe that this is a idea the Lord gave me, and truly, truly, truly excited about it. And I want to invite you all, the listeners and others. And it's just really learning and digging deep into our identity and returning to who we originally were created to be. And so I want to invite you all to that or just ClaudineHicks.com. I just want to put that out there really fast.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to look that up. Please love that. I will leave you with this. This is what, anytime I go online or social media, I actually started TikTok, God forbid. I want to put what I try to put out there the most is I talk about joy and peace, and finding that joy. God made me focus on joy a year. He made me focus on peace a year. And it was a real learning experience, and peace as far as in your life, but peace and being quiet. Can you sit in a room with no noise and be okay with it? There's a lot of people that can't.
That is true. Very true.
And it took me a while to get there. And I mean, not have your brain racing. Because that's what happens when I go to bed, for sure. But I can sit in a room now and be at peace.
Yeah, that's good.
And that is looking for that. But my big thing for everybody is when you're going through your day, find that one piece of joy, no matter what it is, no matter what your day consists of. Look for that moment of joy, be it in somebody else's face, in a kid playing, or just some crazy thing that happens in your day that if you don't laugh about it, you're going to cry about it. But find that joy. There's things that happen in my life, and I look at God and go, okay, fine, I'll lighten up.
Right. Yes.
It just happened. But it's, you know, if you can find joy in your life, it will change your day, your aspect on life. But yeah, and if you can't find anything to be happy about, to have joy about, you're here.
Yes.
And God loves you.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. Thank you so much for that. That is so true. That was so good.
Thank you so much for all of this. I am so happy to do all this, and I want to do this more often, but yeah, it's a step out of my comfort zone, but I so much appreciate you and love you dearly.
And I love you too. I truly, truly appreciate you. Don't go anywhere, okay? For those that want to know how to contact Nichol, I've put her information right at the bottom of the screen. Please, jot it down. It will still be there. And I'll also put it in the comments section so you all can, it will always be there in case you miss it on here. But once again, Nichol, I truly am grateful for you. Grateful for, what the Lord is doing in your life. Grateful for the boldness that you're walking and standing in. Grateful for your voice, because you have your own unique voice, and that is there for certain people. You kind of said it earlier that we're not for everyone, and we realize, and I've realized it in business as for myself, but that there is that people that are there that hears your voice, that when you speak, it touches their heart, it captures their heart. And so I'm so truly grateful for you and the person that is more than just your outer shell, that there's so much more. Your heart is just, you just love people. As you said, you love the Lord and you love people. And I'm truly, truly grateful for that. And I just bless you. I just bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I just bless you to see many more joyful days, happy, joyful days, not just happy, but joy-filled days. I just bless you to continue to relax and to enjoy the peace and the grace of your Heavenly Father. I bless you to remember who you were from the very beginning, when the Father molded you and was speaking to you before he placed you in your mother's womb. I just bless you to remember. I bless you to know that you're fearfully and you're wonderfully made, that you are made in the image of Yeshua. I bless you to know that you light up a room when you walk in. I bless you to know that we see you. You are seen. You are seen not just by man, but you're seen by the Almighty. And once again, I'm truly grateful for you. And thank you for saying yes. Thank you so much for saying yes. You're a great mommy and a wonderful wife and a great friend. And so grateful for you and your connection, truly.
Thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. All right. So y'all, thank you so much, you all, for watching us tonight. And join us again next week for another episode. Nichol, don't go anywhere. Hang on backstage with me, okay? And once again, y'all, thank y'all so much for watching us. We love you all. And we just want to say shalom.